headline I want to talk about too in the midst of all this action going on tonight. So Alabama, they beat LSU 80-73. Not really much of a story there. I mean, you expected them to win. But Mark Sears only played 17 minutes and put up 0 points. And Nate Oats kind of had some interesting things to say in the post game in regards to why exactly he wasn't out there. And I think that's worth a discussion because there were a lot of camera pans over to Mark Sears on the sidelines. He almost looked kind of like visibly upset. Blake, I know you said it almost looked like he was maybe crying or something when we were talking
Yeah.
about it. I don't know if he was completely, but Nate Oates, he did have a quote. I'm trying to pull it up of what
Yeah,
exactly he said.
I got it.
Oh, you
He
got it?
said,
Yep.
yeah, he said, quote, "This is all I'm gonna say about playing time stuff. We played the guys in the second half that we thought gave us the best chance to win the game, and we won the game. Our defense was significantly better in the second half than in the first half, and we haven't done that much this year."
Conspiracy
So,
Luke, is there turmoil when it comes to Nate Oates and Mark Sears' relationship? Because that just seems a little bit strange to me. Blake, you got your hand up. You go first.
Uh, do I want to say this? Okay, I'll say it. Yeah, I do think there might be some type of stuff behind the scenes. Obviously, no, but like none of us are gonna know that right now. Probably not for the foreseeable future. But I mean, I'm sure there is something going on. I mean, they had Preston Murphy, one of their assistant coaches, consoling him on the sideline on the bench, and he was like visibly frustrated and like throwing his arms up, kind of like, I don't know, just seemed kind of upset there. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, what went on in that game, but for a guy who's considered basically a legend in that program right now, for him to play 17 minutes and just not really get much production out of him is really kind of puzzling almost.
Yeah, and I mean, I would imagine that's the first time that Sears has had 0 points in quite some time. I know that he had some shaky performances in non-conference, but it was just a very weird situation because I was watching on like the multi-box thing on YouTube TV, and I kept looking and I saw them. They would just keep panning over to the bench and him sitting there. So eventually, I just turned on like the audio for that game, and they didn't really say much about it, but. Brandy, what do you think's going on over there for your rivals? Obviously, it's very weird to see your best scorer and one of the best guards in the country just sit out that much extended time, and then he goes out and Oates goes out in the post game and makes a comment like that that's very vague and seems like kind of a shot, but we don't really know if he meant it that way. It's just very odd to me.
yeah, I mean, 17 minutes from your preseason All-American who's coming off the best season of his career, in a conference game that you were tied in at halftime, not ideal. And it's the second 0 point game he's had this season. I think, though, it really just comes down to Aiden Holloway has been so much better than Mark Sears in conference play that a business decision was made. And it's probably really hard for a fifth-year player like Mark Sears to come to terms with the fact that he's been benched in a game, and that is what it is. But hopefully, for his sake, he sees like, the team is winning and that's what matters. And if they're winning because I'm on the bench and not in the game, then like, you know, gotta be positive, gotta be happy. Um, so yeah, I mean, I really think that is what it comes down to, is just that Aiden Holloway's been that much better in conference play than Mark Sears has, and this game was probably a lot closer than the team expected it to be at that point, and a decision was made. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of feel bad for Mark Sears. I mean, we saw that something similar happen during the Illinois game when he wasn't doing good either. So, um, I don't know. He's still averaging, what, double figure scoring points. Like he's still, having a decent season, but definitely not compared to the season that he had last year. But right now he doesn't necessarily have to. They're still winning because Aiden and Phylon are playing well. So, we'll see what happens down the stretch, but I definitely think it's something to monitor and has been honestly before conference play too.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten embarrassment of riches there at the guards with Phylon and Holloway, but I just, with the comments that Oates made, and if that is directly related to Mark Sears, which I mean, you would imagine you are. I mean, conspiracy, tinfoil trap here, but you know, it's just all very off-putting to me, and I hope that doesn't kind of like strain the relationship between coach and player there, because I mean, he's visibly frustrated on the sideline, and this isn't the first time that this has happened. So, and I love Mark Sears' game because in the preseason, I mean, I predicted him to be one of my player of the year picks. So I want to see him get things going because when he does get it going, he's very exciting to watch. But we'll move
There
off of
was,
that
I
from
will
that.
say,
Oh,
there was a little bit of chatter tonight that he had the flu too. So
oh yeah. I
yeah,
didn't see that anywhere.
that was some slight discussion about that. Not sure if that's true or not, but I know it is going around a couple of other teams too. But in the middle of the game, even kind of before he was benched, there was like a little bit of chatter about him not being 100% from potentially the flu. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but there was some chatter about that.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know who they have next, but I would imagine obviously you want to get Sears back on the right track, and hopefully they will. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, they play Mississippi State next on a Wednesday or a Tuesday night. But hopefully, Mark Sears, everything's going all right with him. If he does have the flu, if that's going around, obviously get better soon. And if it's just strictly a basketball thing, hopefully he can get that figured out with Oates and all that. But before